Hello, good evening. It's 5 p.m. Welcome to 505. Coming up tonight, President John Dramani Mahama summoned the Managing Director of Tema Development Corporation, Municipal Chief Executive for Tema, and two ministers to a meeting over dispute between TDC and Tema Metropolitan Assembly concerning development works at Community 1 Site 3. We have updates for you also coming up tonight. Inspector General of Police urges religious leaders to help restore calm amid rising tension as he engages both Christian and Muslim leaders on what many describe as religious tussle.
I ask 3 commitments from you today. Strength. Dedicate your Friday sermons in Islam, but Sunday sermons strictly to messages of interfaith harmony, self-control, and the danger of religious conflict.
Tonight we ask, what next beyond this? Also tonight, pressure mounts on governments as still issues a 2-week ultimatum over workers' grievances. While that happens, pre-teacher unions maintain September 7 deadline to strike if the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission fails to address their concerns.
And we are expecting our teachers by 7th September. All these things should be done before the teachers return to school on the 7th of September. That is where we stand. The government must make sure that all the things we have discussed and agreed on should be implemented on or before September 7th when the teachers will come back to school. Anything short than that, please, whatever happens, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana should blame those who are responsible for something. We will not back down on any of those things. We are spoken.
Meanwhile, the strike by the Ghana Association of University Administrators continue to bite hard. And later this evening, Gilbert J. Kenneth assumes office as Defense Minister nearly a year after the death of the former Minister, Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah.
It is a great honor and privilege to return to the Ministry of Defense as a substantive Minister for Defense, following my appointment by His Excellency the President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. I am deeply grateful to His Excellency the President.
Well, the New Patriotic Party to hold its regional executive elections tomorrow as part of efforts to reorganize the party and strengthen grassroots ahead of the 2028 general elections. We have these and more stories, plus some interesting analysis to do. Stay with us. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here. Digital address 0042359 North Laboni, Third Daddy Walk on Class 91.3 FM in Accra. You're also live on Ho FM 92.5, Hills 91.7 at Dakar, both in the Volta region, Max Empire 96.9 at Bazawa in the Upper East region, Dagbon FM 102.5 in Tamale Radio Power 96 in Spain. We're live on Facebook. Connect with us or join us with your thoughts, comments, and contributions with a hashtag 505, alternatively through our WhatsApp number 0500,000 202. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. It's time, it's 505. Welcome. Well, to the very first story, President John Dramani Mahama has summoned the Managing Director for TDC Company Limited, Courage Nunekbeku Makafui, the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ebi Brights, and two ministers to a meeting over disputes surrounding development works at Community 1, Site 3 in Tema. The meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 17, 2026 at 11 a.m. is expected to address the concerns raised by both TDC and Tema Metropolitan Assembly over the ongoing development and infilling projects. The directive issued at the President's instruction today, Friday, the 14th of August 2026, comes after a TMA ordered TDC to halt work on the project, arguing that the development was being undertaken without the required permits. The Minister for Local Government and the Minister for Works and Housing and Water Resources have also been invited to the meeting. The intervention follows a standoff between the two public institutions after TMA demolished preparatory works at the TDC Community 1 Site 3 housing project, while TDC also said it received a stop work order from the Assembly on August 7, giving the company 7 days to submit relevant documents and respond to concerns raised over the project. However, the company said TMA officials returned to the site on August 12, that's on Tuesday, and demolished the preparatory works before the 7-day period had expired. In case you miss the interview with the TDC boss, Courage Makafui Nunekbeku, yesterday, take a listen.
One, we received a letter from the TMA that we should provide or take steps to get permits and some few other, documentation prior to the commencement of the project. Got that letter on the 10th. As a matter of fact, the letter is dated on the 7th. I'm sure your reporters have that letter. They can make it available to you. It's dated on the 7th, and we got it on the 10th. So the next day, we had a management meeting and quickly responded and delivered a letter saying to the assembly that we have a long-standing relationship to the extent that whatever project we are doing, we are not supposed to get the permit project. In that same vein, when they also need a land, we give it out for free once the land is available. And when you even give them land and they build properties, be it commercial or whatever they are using, we cannot go there and take grant permits. That relationship, that understanding has existed for decades, more than 4 decades. And that has been a situation. So we were surprised when we got that letter. So we responded accordingly that this is the relationship between us. So we are shocked that this is coming on. However, if they want to change the narrative, they should let us know so that we can know how to proceed forward. Then, in their letter, they stated that 7 days is given to us to respond. So we were expecting that, having received our letter, either they will respond to us or we will take the steps to start the permit process.
So that's the managing director for TDC company, TDC Ghana Limited, actually. Courage Makafui Nunekbaku. I've been joined on the phone by local governance expert Dr. Frederick Odrodok. Good evening to you. Grateful that you've joined us on 505.
Good evening.
I'm sure you have followed the conversation or the argument or the banter between two public institutions or officers, Courage Makafui of the TDC and Ebbe Bright of the TMA. First of all, how would you describe this banter between these two public officials?
Well, this has been a long-standing challenge with particularly Timor and to an extent Akosombo because of the special status that was created with the TDC. However, if you want to trace the TDC history, it goes back to our 1952. But then, certain developments or certain legislation have come into play that, in an understanding of the status of TEMA and TDC, that is TMA and TDC, relative to this issue, we need to establish which of these institutions have the statutory authority and if we want to go deeper, maybe time not permit, but there are 3 key legislations that we cannot lose sight of. We have the Act 95, that is the Self-Planning Act. Then we have Act 936, which is the Local Government Act. And then there is the LI on Land Use and Social Planning Act, LI 2384. If we have time going through these laws, the Act 925, which is the Land Use and Social Planning Act, was made specifically to put together, to bring together all the laws on land use and social planning in the country. But the key theme of the law was to make social planning a decentralized planning system. And if we look at the architecture of the law, it establishes social planning from the national level to the very local level. And in that thing, you come to realize that it is the TN, not the TDC, that has got the statutory authority for special planning in the country. So from where I stand, even the local government has also confirmed this, again affirming the fact that it is the district assembly, and in this case, we're referring to the Metropolitan Assembly, which has got the power for special planning. in this country. So if you look at some of these things, yes, I do agree that ownership of the thermal land falls under the TDC, but ownership of the land does not grant anybody the power to issue development permits. It is only the assemblies, the district, municipal and metropolitan assemblies that are given statutory rights to issue these permits. So that is the area I think we should have better our mind.
The argument by TDC boss is that we've had this norm for a very long time between this relationship between the TDC and the TMA. Anytime we want to embark on a project, we by per the law we need to seek permits, but that hasn't been the case in the past. And so if the TMA wants to enforce that law, why don't you come clear and say you want to review the law? You have gone with this norm for a very long time, but now you need permits. So TDC's argument is that the TMA should have called for a meeting that, look, this is how we want to go now. Shouldn't that have been done? If that has been done, I'm not sure we're having this conversation.
The point is that has the TDC ever accepted the fact that the TMA has they are the authority, they have the statutory mandate for land use planning in this country, and for that matter, if you even want to develop any piece of land, particularly relative to building, you need to go to the TMA permit. You see, let's not confuse the ownership of the land with the right to issue permits for the development of the land. The ownership of the land is without question. That is the TDC. It is, yes, it's like you live outside town, you can acquire any piece of land and all that. But when it comes to developing that piece of land, you need to go to the assembly, whether metro, whether municipal or industrial assembly, in the area. But this has been a contention between TDC and TMA over a long time. That's not nothing new. It is maybe we are getting to a point that the TMA wants to assert its authority based on law. That is why we are facing the current situation. And remember, TDC itself has undergone a lot of changes. And the last legislation on the TDC was as late as 2023. And we need to review some of these things. For this conflict coming up, is it because the TDC is being cheated or the TMA is asserting its authority? From my personal perspective, I believe the TMA is acting within its right. The TDC itself must accept that within the current legal regime, they must accept that the TMA is the authority when it comes to land use and special planning.
The TDC says they were given a 7-day ultimatum to respond, but the assembly demolished the site on the 5th day. Legally, does a stop work order give the assembly the immediate power to enforce, or are they procedurally bound to wait for the expiration of the notice period before taking physical action?
I don't know the veracity of what either of them is doing. I think that must be a matter the court must decide.
Okay.
But I think we need to resolve this matter once and we need. I've read some reports. The president is asking to meet with with the key officers of the two institutions, and I believe this matter must be brought to head. And I would be happier for the purposes of effective governance of that space, that we can establish clearly by law who has the power to do this. And from my perspective, I think the CMA is acting within its right.
How should President spell out its directives to them, and especially when the TMA reports to local government and TDC reports to Works and Housing. Is this real issue of lack of interministerial coordination?
You see, now, as the law comes, the TDC is a limited liability company owned by the government. And they have clear mandates. But some of the mandates they are claiming seems to be historical. And I'm saying that in the light of current development, TDC itself has had amendments to its legal status. The TMA is operating within the law, as I quoted, the Land Use and Social Planning Act, as well as the Local Government Act, and accompanying a legislative instrument. So if we were to pick all these things alongside each other, I think TMA must accept its present position within the law and accept the position of the authority of the TMA. That is why in all this discussion I'm saying the TMA must assess itself as the planning authority. As for the ownership of the Tema land, it is without question that is the TDC. But TMA is not questioning the ownership. It is questioning the authority to give permission for development. And that is where we should dwell the argument. We shouldn't go into the ownership. And TMA, as far as I can tell, has never questioned the ownership of the land. Now, it is asserting its authority as the planning, planning authority in that jurisdiction.
I see. Doc, let me thank you for your time this evening. I'm grateful. So that's Dr. Frederick Odro, who is a local governance expert. So this is 505 on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, across the country and across the world, on classfmonline.com. Just about 19 minutes after 5. You can send your messages on our WhatsApp number 0500,000 202 0500,000 202. Well, some other stories. The Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, has called on Christian and Muslim leaders to help restore calm following recent tensions triggered by inflammatory religious comments and subsequent assaults. Speaking at an engagement with Christian and Muslim leaders at the Emergency Command Center of the police headquarters here in Cantonment, Accra, Mr. Yohuno stressed that violence and vigilantism could not resolve the situation. The IGP firmly rejected extrajudicial action and urged religious leaders to use their influence to promote peace, tolerance, and respect for the rule of law. He disclosed that the suspects involved in the recent incidents are currently on bail as investigations continue. They include an imam who allegedly called for the beheading of persons who insult Prophet Muhammad. The pastor also accused of making insulting remarks about Prophet Muhammad, and a Muslim man who allegedly verbally and physically assaulted the pastor while he was handcuffed in the police custody. Listen.
Our revered clergy and the imams, our beloved chief imam, they all look up to us. They listen to your sermons, read your social media posts, and follow your gestures. At this fragile moment, your words can either act as water upon an emerging fire or as petrol upon dying embers. I ask 3K commitments from you today. Strength. Dedicate your Friday sermons in Islam, Kubat, and Sunday sermons strictly to messages of interfaith harmony, self-control, and the danger of religious conflict. Remind your congregations that an attack on the peace of Ghana is an attack on the future of their own children. Model cross-faith unity. Let the public see Christians and Islamic leaders standing together, sharing meals, issuing joint statements, and working through our communities hand in hand. Show the youth that diversity of faith is strength, not a fault line. Reaffirm trust in statutory justice.
So that's the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohono. Let's hear from both the Christian Council and a spokesperson for the National Chief Imam.
Our words can promote understanding, tolerance, and unity, especially at times when tensions may arise. Thanks to the IGP for calling this engagement and the positive and constructive remarks he made earlier on. We believe that Ghana Police Service remains committed to working closely with religious institutions to maintain peace, protect lives and property, and strengthen public confidence. We therefore encourage all of us to reject intolerance, hate speech, provocations, and violence. Instead, promote dialogue, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence. Let us continue to remind ourselves and our congregations and followers that regardless of our faith, traditions, we are first and foremost Ghanaians. Our diversity should unite us and not divide us. I humbly urge all of us to continue partnering with the police in building a peaceful, secure, and harmonious Ghana.
All that were hurt, either from what the apostle said, very painful, very desecrating. If you ask me to repeat it, I cannot. I cannot. But for all those who were hurt by it, I call for restraint and patience. And among the Christians, for all also those who were hurt by what was done to the brother, the apostle, we also call for restraint. In the midst of the cacophony, we require cool heads to be able to deal with this matter. Just call cool heads. And I hope that as we keep on engaging, today is Friday, if it is possible, I will call on all imams. I'm an imam myself, great respect to the chief imam. He has allowed me to lead prayer somewhere. This is my subject for my sermon this afternoon. And I hope that all other imams will courageously make this the issue of peace, forgiveness, pardon, compassion. These are the virtues that were upheld by the great prophets of East.
So you had the two religious leaders. That's one. Earlier we heard from the Christian Council, and the latter part we had the spokesperson to the National Chief Imam. Let's speak with Reverend Amuzu, who is with the Christian Council's head of interfaith and ecumenical relations. He joins me on the phone. Rev, good evening to you. I'm grateful for your time on 505. You must be a happy person because of the peace pipe being smoked, right?
Absolutely. I'm a happy person because our effort to, de-escalate the rising tension has yielded dividend, and we thank the IGP and all the religious leaders, Christian Council, the Muslim clerics for their cooperation, which resulted in, should I say, a peace pact. We didn't sign any documents, but at least verbally, statements were made and affirmations were made to promote the peace and to restore restraint across the country.
What were your key takeaways from that engagement today?
One, we were reminded of our long years of cherished interfaith harmony. Sometimes once in a while you become complacent, you forget your history, you forget your identity. And so we were reminded of, our identity as a country that has high tolerance for diversity, high tolerance for, religious coexistence, peaceful coexistence among the various religious bodies, especially the major religions, Islam and Christianity, to the extent that our brothers and sisters in Nigeria came to learn from us. And you recall that a couple of days ago, the Muslim and Christian communities in Nigeria signed a peace pact. They're learning from us. All of a sudden, we are just throwing all these years of great interfaith harmony away. And so everybody, was inspired to put the brakes and to ensure that we rather consolidate this cherished, identity that we have earned for ourselves across the sub-region.
What's
That's
next?
one. And then two, the main architects of this whole brouhaha, the Muslim cleric who slapped Christian brother in handcuffs. He was there too. He, sounded very apologetic and, sort of showed some remorse and called for forgiveness. And then the victim was also there, also to accept those, plea for forgiveness. And so he accepted that. And then the Muslim cleric who also said that if anybody who is a Gentile, anybody who does not share their faith, attacks the Prophet Muhammad, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, I mean, you could go to the extent of even, taking lives, He was also there. He also, from the optics, he also showed remorse. And so largely, in fact, the chief imam himself, who, is well advanced in age, because of the seriousness of the situation and the need to send the right signal that we are having zero tolerance for, the breach of the peace. Anything that would threaten this many years of, cherished interfaith harmony. He was there. They managed to bring him, and he managed to speak words into the microphone, And so the simple message is that we wanted to really take this matter up, but we are guided by the wisdom of the elders to just put the brakes and to allow sleeping dogs to lie. So we have all been carried along. And Monday, I'm putting on your network that Monday we'll do a follow-up meeting under the auspices of the Peace Council. The Interior Minister will be brought. Will come. The Peace Council is within the Interior Ministry.
Sure.
So the Peace Council is bringing the Interior Minister, and then the main Christian ecumenical bodies will be coming to the Christian Council on Monday at 11 a.m. to consolidate what we began today. Today's was at the instance of the IGP, but on Monday, at the instance of the Ministry of Interior, spearheaded by the National Peace Council, just to consolidate what has been. Because some people are so peeved.
Yeah.
They think that the matter should be escalated. But you see, we all lose. And the many years of achievement within the interfaith harmony, circles will be lost. And so we just want to allow sleeping dogs to lie. And for us to not to be seen that it was the IGP who, initiated the thing. When we have Peace Council, we have the Christian community, there will be another leg of the peace talks to ensure that what we began today is consolidated.
Reverend, thank you so much. I like the latter part of the conversation, because religion should not divide us as a country. And so I'm looking forward to that engagement on Monday as well. So I'm sure that we'll have a conversation on Monday. So that's Reverend Godwin Amuzu. Let me speak with Adib Sani, who's a security analyst. Adib, good evening to you. I'm grateful for your time on 505. How serious? But first of all, let me have your reaction to the meeting put together by the IGP calling both parties to smoke peace pipe today.
Well, I think it's a great call, because yesterday I granted a number of interviews in which I called on the security agencies to act as a matter of urgency. And so bringing all the parties together including the leadership, I think is a great intervention that would have prevented something unfortunate from happening to the country. So let me congratulate the IGP. I mean, he's done so well, his outfit, and I strongly commend him for putting together that meeting that occurred today.
How serious is the current situation from a national security perspective, given the inflammatory religious comments and subsequent assault?
Well, religion is something a lot of Ghanaians take to heart. It is something they hold holy. It's very sacred to them. So when you say anything inflammatory against one's religion, it evokes passions, and it can lead to anger and possibly lead to violence. Now, when I first saw the video of that Malam saying those unsavory things I cannot repeat on air, I cringed because it was a very, very unfortunate thing he said, and it had the tendency of getting some pastors also to say things against the religion. And you know, with what he said, because we respect malams and imams and pastors so much, whatever they say has dire implications. Okay, so people might follow what he said and go ahead to do whatever he's teaching them to do. And he spoke just like Muhammad Yusuf, the founder of Boko Haram. He was a preacher, preaching from one mosque to another. Then he started preaching, just saying things like the way this imam did. And unfortunately, the state didn't handle it well, and that is what culminated into Boko Haram. So I think it was quite unfortunate. And the pastor's statements also have followed him on social media, also very, very unfortunate. And we were just left with a clash to trigger a chain reaction that would have caused us a lot of, problems in this country. So I'm happy that somewhat it looks like a finality has been brought to the case, and all things have become normal once again.
I just spoke with before you came or you joined the conversation. I was speaking with a rep from the Christian Council, where they says that they're going to have a further conversation with the Interior Ministry on Monday. So I'm asking that beyond this conversation with the IGP and beyond the conversation they also have with the Interior Ministry, what then should they be guided by, so we don't record some of these incidents again?
Well, both Muslim and Christian leaders too should continuously, I should say, engage their followers and appeal to them not to take matters into their own hands and to abstain from saying things that has the tendency of causing disaffection or anger from the other side. But I think that the police and other security agencies should also pick this up. I've gone online and I've seen a lot of writings by individuals, whether they are real or not. I'm unable to tell. I think the police intelligence or ICT department or unit should take this up, investigate all those accounts, and ensure those behind them are arrested and brought to book, because the things they put out there in a lot of instances amount to hate speech and incitement to violence. So I think it is something that they need to, as it were, pay a lot of attention to. But generally, Ghanaians should understand that Christians and Muslims have lived harmoniously. I mean, and that is one of the reasons we are where we are today as a country. We cannot allow or let some few individuals to mar the relationship, the very unique relationship we have enjoyed over the years. My father was a renowned Malam, Imam in Tamale, but I attended mission schools. I attended SDA and Presby. I mean, so all of that is indicative of that unique relationship between the two faiths, and we cannot allow certain persons to hide under the cover of social media to spoil what we have built all these years.
Before I let you go, the IGP has rejected vigilantism and extrajudicial action. How significant is this warning from a security standpoint?
Well, we have anti-vigilantism and other related offences law. The law is very specific. I mean, if you are talking about political vigilantism, it's very specific. I mean, if you are caught engaged in any such act, I mean, you will be dealt with according to the law. Mob action, we have a lot of lessons to learn as a country over the years. Major Mama is still very fresh in our minds. Unfortunately, it still happens. And I think that one of the surest ways to deal with the menace is to ensure that the laws are enforced to the latter. If people keep on doing it and nobody is held to account, they will be incentivized into doing it more. Okay, so the laws would have to work. The laws are there, the first instance, to regulate our ways, our behavior, and to ensure there's sanity within our society. So if it is there and is not applied or enforced, then it defeats the purpose for even having the laws in the first place. So I think that those are my opinions.
Very well. Very well. Mr. Adib, let me thank you so much for your time this evening. So that's Sani Adib, who is a security analyst. This is 505 on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com.
Charlie, dream I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. Momo day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out, I pay back. We move. Spoil there. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you dey pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, Momo day. Be like I for can't borrow some. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah, motion.
Responsible borrowing be the real flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. Momo Day.
You're welcome back from that quick commercial break. Some 40 minutes after 5. 2 others. Pressure is mounting on the government to contain growing labor unrest in the education sector, with the Teachers and Educational Workers Union (TEU) becoming the latest group to issue an ultimatum over unresolved concerns affecting its members. The union has given government and other relevant stakeholders 2 weeks to address what it describes as a long-standing issue of neglect and unfair treatment of non-teaching staff. The development comes amid an ongoing dispute between the Ghana Association of University Administrators and governments over disparities in market premiums and related allowances, raising fresh concerns about the possibility of wider industrial action within the education sector. TEU says it will be forced to take further action if its concerns are not resolved by the end of the 2-week deadline. Among its key demands is the payment of outstanding overtime allowances owed to watchmen and other security personnel working under the Ghana Education Service. The union is also demanding assurances that non-teaching staff will continue to have representation on the Governing Council of Universities and Colleges of Education. The union has therefore warned that failure by governments and relevant institutions to respond within the stipulated period could compel its members to advise themselves, a phrase that could pave the way for industrial action. There is more in this report by my colleague Esther Natal Misiham Baba.
Is strike the ideal way of solving national issues? Issues related to debts owed by the government to various institutions. Is the government aware of the too many strikes? Strike has become the voice of solutions people need or use to out loud their frustration. The questions go on and on. Like many institutions who register their displeasure through strike, the Association of University Administrators are no different. Here at the University of Ghana Hospital, the situation looks calm. Work is still ongoing in some departments except the OPD. But since life matters, first aid and emergency cases are still open to patients who walk in. But as it stands now, everything related to OPD has been affected, from doctors, nurses to the pharmacy, X-ray, public health department, special cases, and more. Though some treatment is being offered in some departments, the OPD specifically has been affected. Class News engaged some patients who explained that they were ignorant of the closure of the OPD, which has disorganized their plans of coming to the hospital. Aside that, some students of the university say they are unhappy about the closure of the OPD. This is going to affect not just academics, but health as well. They therefore urge the government to resolve the issues as soon as possible.
Yes, I believe the strike is not going to help a lot of things in the university because we are students. We have things to do already. Academics is stressful. We are falling sick in between these academic works, and we don't want to come here and hear that the OPD is closed. Already, a lot of students do not like reading, so I'm not sure they are even aware that the OPD is not really working now. Imagine being sick, coming here, and then the OPD is not working. You'll be very surprised, so it's not going to help at all.
So what I can say about this girl strike is that the administrative, because the strike is from the university administrative across the country, and we all know that the administrative part of the university is an essential part of the university that sees to the day-to-day activities of the university. So if these people are going on strike, I can't imagine the things that would go left in the universities, or the things that will not go the way it has to go, because administration is like a major part, as I mentioned earlier. They see to their account, they see to the welfare, they see to the health of the students in the university. So if today they are not working, I don't think it's going to be a great thing to hear that this administrative parts of the university has gone to strike.
So the accounts department is one of the important departments on the university campus, and since the administratives are going on strike, I think it's really going to affect the students, because most of what we do are related to accounts. So when you're coming to school or you want to enroll and then you are not able to pay your fees because the staff are on strike, what are you going to do? And it will really affect us very well. I don't know when this is going to end, but I just hope the government see to it and let what that is needed to be to.
So these are some concerns from students of the University of Ghana. Reporting for Class News, Esther Natal Misiham Baba. Gone.
So that's a report by my colleague Esther Natal Misiham Baba. We'll go on the phone line shortly and speak with the General Secretary of TEU. That's James Azoti, but unfortunately I'm unable to get him on the line. Well, in a related development, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, PRETAG, have rejected the call by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to the unions over outstanding conditions of service and to wait for the establishment of the proposed Independent Public Emoluments Commission. The unions are demanding the payment of a 20% deprived area allowance, digital allowance, and professional development allowance, insisting that allowances already agreed with governments must be implemented. NAGRAT's President Jacob Banaba said teachers could not suspend their demands indefinitely while waiting for a commission that is yet to be established. He maintained that the unions were not asking for new benefits but seeking the implementation of commitments already reached with government.
Well, let me say that we've already engaged them twice. And as we all know, this year, because of the transition, we are not doing holistic.
These are things that we have agreed on already under the laws of Ghana. And that is something that we must all abide by. Look, are we saying that the laws of Ghana, because the Independent Emolument Commission is coming, so all the laws of Ghana are not working? The labor laws are not working. The Constitution, Article 24.3, that says that workers are unions are created to seek and protect the interest, the economic and social. In all those things are not working again because a baby called Independent Emolument Commission is going to be born. No, all the laws of Ghana are functioning. The police are enforcing it. If you go to the court today, the court will still stand by those laws of Ghana. That is what we are asking for. This one, we've signed it. We've signed it. Let's get it done. And then we are saying that laws don't take retrospective effect. You don't do that. You can't tell us that we should wait for you to bring in a policy so that that policy can look at it. No. Nobody does that. Please. We are dealing with the laws of Ghana. Let us be law-abiding, please.
To be frank with you, I'm not happy about that at all because this Independent Emolument Commission is supposed to have legal backing, and I don't know when it will have that legal backing. We've just started a discussion with Fair Wages and Salary Commission, and what they are telling us is that there are two scenarios when this becomes live. Our condition of service or our bargaining certificate has expired since last month. That one is non-negotiable. We need to have it now because there are certain conditions that government has to meet by September this year. We have two payments that has to be done. Our deprived area allowance that we've spoken about, digital allowance, then our professional development allowance. Those things have been negotiated for and it has to be paid every year. So we cannot wait for this new body to come into force before these things are paid to our members. We need to meet with Fair Wages and Salary Commission and agree on what we should do moving forward. Whatever they bring to the table, whether we agree or we don't agree, they have to go to government and let us know what government is saying. Well, if we want to wait for this one, I don't know how the teacher will be feeling. In fact, NAGRAT is waiting for a very good time to make a statement because the system now, as we've seen it, is not good for us. We have come for a meeting with Fair Wages. We want to listen to them. After that, we'll make our position known to the general public. I mean, we have been in this together. We support them. We support the deadline given. By the end of August, we must hear something from Fair Wages and Salary Commission.
So that's the leadership of NAGRATS and NATS. But the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says it is ready to address concerns raised by pre-tertiary teacher unions over their conditions of service. According to the Commission's Chief Executive, Dr. Smith Graham, because of the planned transition of the Independent Public Emoluments Commission, the Commission is not undertaking a comprehensive review of conditions of service this year.
Well, let me say that we've already engaged them twice. And as we all know, this year, because of the transition, we are not doing holistic review of any conditions of service. What we are doing is to identify just some allowances and improve on those allowances for those whose conditions of service have expired. Because we are transitioning into the Independent Emolument Commission, a new pay policy is going to come up. And so that is a directive from cabinet to us. And so we've engaged them, but they don't seem to understand. They want us to review holistically their way. And they are the only group left. We've negotiated with every union. They are the only group left. So we will engage them again next week. And from there, we'll know exactly what will happen.
So that's the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. Smith Graham. Well, this is 505 here on Class 91.3. Nearly a year after the helicopter crash that claimed the life of former Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah, Gilbert Kenneth Ajay has officially assumed office as Ghana's substantive defense minister. He takes over from acting defense minister Dr. Kesela Tufosin, who formally handed over the affairs of the ministry to him at an assumption of office ceremony. Gilbert Ajay, a former minister for works and housing and water resources, was appointed defense minister by President John Dramani Mahama in the recent ministerial reshuffle. Our reports has more on this transition and the priorities of the new defense minister.
Nearly a year after the helicopter crash that claimed the life of Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah, Gilbert Kenneth Ajay has officially taken over the ministry's leadership. Gilbert Ajay formally assumed office as substantive Defense Minister after signing the handing over and resumption of office document with the acting Defense Minister Dr. Kesela Tufosin. The ceremony marks the formal transition of leadership at the ministry following the death of Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah in the 2025 helicopter crash. Gilbert Ajay, who previously served as Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, was reassigned to the Defense Ministry in President Mahama's first ministerial reshuffle since assuming office for the second term. As he takes charge of the ministry, Gilbert Ajay is expected to work with the military high command and other stakeholders on key issues including national security, defense preparedness, and the welfare of personnel.
It is a great honor and privilege to return to the Ministry of Defense as a substantive Minister for Defense, following my appointment by His Excellency the President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. I am deeply grateful to His Excellency the President. For me, this appointment represents a return to a familiar ground. Between 2015 and 2017, I had the privilege of serving as Deputy Minister for Defense. That experience gave me a deep appreciation of the professionalism, discipline, sacrifice, and dedication of the men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces and the civilian employees.
Dr. Kesela Tufosin, who has been acting as Defense Minister, formally handed over the affairs of the ministry to Gilbert Ajay. He spoke about his stewardship of the ministry and the transition to the substantive leadership.
I formally hand over the leadership of the Ministry of Defense with a deep sense of gratitude, honor, and duty fulfilled. I thank first His Excellency the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces for entrusting me with this responsibility following the tragic helicopter crash of August 6, 2025. I served in honor of those we lost and in service to our republic.
The Deputy Defense Minister, Ernest Jemfi, also spoke on the transition, highlighting the importance of continuity and collaboration in advancing the ministry's mandate and supporting the Ghana Armed Forces.
With my distinct honor and privilege to, on behalf of the management, directors, staff of the Ministry of Defense, to warmly welcome you all to this important ceremony. Today marks a significant moment in the life of this ministry as we formally welcome a new Minister for Defense and bid farewell to our acting minister who has provided steady leadership and steered the affairs of the ministry with dedication and commitment during this transition. We are particularly privilege that our new minister is not new to the square. As we may all be aware, he previously served as Deputy Minister for Defense between 2015 and 2017.
The resumption of the office formally places the Defense Ministry under the substantive leadership of Gilbert Ajay, who now takes responsibility for steering the country's defense portfolio and working with the military leadership to safeguard Ghana's national security interest. I am Elizabeth Adu.
So that's a report by my colleague Elizabeth Adu. Let's do some messages. Francis in Accra says, "Hi QJ, good call and steps by National Chief Imam and Elvis for their good interfaith dialogue and work so far. We plead with the Muslim brothers to take it easy on issues of such. Some elements among them are also doing the same, but Christians don't get okay. For TMA boss GM should sack her or ask her to apologize for the undiplomatic act, and this will add up to I lost again in 2028. That's what Francis shares with us. Infokomla says, Kwame, good relations between the MC of Tema Sermon, the individuals by President John Dramani Mahama was sanitized, finalized. It's into construction of the 24-hour economic inspector general. Okay, economy inspector general of police. Service calls on Christian religious must not separate us. It must bring us together. Okay, in one common goal and in unity. Thank you for your message as well. Let me do this final one. Good evening, KOJ. Now, fuel is being increased every day and is really affecting our transport business. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. On behalf of my team, led by Nano Yankra, I'm grateful for a company in the last 60 minutes produced by Narendra Raja Kranchi. I leave in the hands of Mr. Mauto. But MTN says that, so you know that yesterday, some people, about 3 people, got 3 brand new Land Cruisers. You can also catch the live action on other platforms. Come celebrate with us as we hand over keys, the cash and the smiles, and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN, everywhere you go. Mr. Mauto will drive you home safely. Today is Friday. You want to take a very good care of yourself. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on Monday at 5 p.m. here on Class 91.3. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr.